Vasudev. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, wanted to seek the blessing of Radha Madhava, Radha Shamsundar, Krishna Balaram, Bal Gopal, Singh Dev Bhagwan, Jagannath, Pradesh, Gauni Taitul Simani, Haridas Sagar, Guru Parampara, Srila Prabhupada, Guru Maharaj, and the assembled devotees. Continuing on from Bhagavatam, 10th Canto, today we're looking at the 15th chapter, the killing of Dhenuk, the ass demon, Dhenukasura. This chapter describes how Balaram and Lord Balaram, Lord Krishna, while tending their cows in the pastures of Vrindavan, killed Dhenukasura, enabled the residents of Vrindavan to eat the fruits of the tala trees, and saved the young cowherd boys from Kaliya's poison. When Krishna and Balaram attained the age of Pauganda, 6 to 10, the cowherd men allowed them to begin tending the cows. So up to now, they were tending the calves. But now they were allowed to take the Gaumata, the big ones. Thus Lord Madhav sounded his flute, surrounded by cowherd boys and accompanied by Lord Balaram, kept the cows before him, and he entered the Vrindavan forest. Seeing the forest which resounded with the charming sound of bees, animals, and birds, and which were enhanced by a clear water lake with the breeze carrying the fragrance of 100 petaled lotuses, Krishna decided to enjoy the auspicious atmosphere. This is in the forest of Vrindavan, very glorious place. Even Krishna, who is the um, ultimate enjoyer of everything, wanted to enjoy that wonderful Vrindavan forest. Krishna saw that the stately trees were bent down to touch his feet with the tips of the branches as he spoke to his elder brother. Just see how these trees are offering their fruits and flowers to your lotus feet, and the bees are worshipping you by following you along the path and chanting your glories. These peacocks are dancing before you out of joy, and the doves are pleasing you with affectionate glances. This is in a very nice painting showing Krishna Balaram taking the cows. Yashodamai wanted Krishna to wear shoes, so she didn't want him to go into the forest, deep into the forest with the Gaumatas, because there would be loads of thorns. So she said, yes, okay. I mean, initially she said no to Krishna for the tending, but the Krishna said to his father, you need to let me go. Yashoda Mai won't allow me, but you will have to give me permission so that I can tend the cows. I am now old enough. So Yashoda and Nanda Maharaj said, yes, you can do. But then Yashoda Mai said, okay, you can go, but I'm going to make shoes for you. Yashoda Mai wanted Krishna to wear shoes, but he said that she will have to make shoes for all the cows. And there was a lot of cows, right? 900,000 cows, times that by 4. That means 3.6 million shoes. So Yashoda Mai said, no, you carry on. So he went barefoot into the forest. But the Gomatas, they were very concerned as well. First time we're going with Krishna, but all those pebbles will hurt the feet. So what they did in the middle of the night, they went into the forest and they grinded all the stones into sand. And that place is called Raman Reti. It's still there in Vrindavan. One can go there, see lots of Gomatas, and also roll in the sand of that wonderful place. So they grinded all the stones into sand so that Krishna would not be uncomfortable. Lesson: Krishna loves cows. He can't live without cows. He looks after cows, and the cows love him as well. And we can't even think of Gomata even once a day. This is a wonderful painting of Gomata and how the 33 million demigods reside in her body. And she's also regarded as our mother. There are 7 mothers listed in a verse by Chanakya Pandit, which was quoted by Srila Prabhupada. Atma Mata Guru Patni Brahmani Raja Patnika Dhenu Datri Tata Prithvi Saptal Saptaiti Da Mata Smriti. One's own mother is one of the mothers, of course. The wife of the Guru, the wife of the Brahmin, the wife of the king, Go Mata. The nurse and the earth is also regarded as mothers. So, lesson for learn from this: mothers have an important role, Matri Devapava, in our lives, should be honored and respected. So, this some very nice pictures with Krishna with Gomatas. And he worships Gomata as well, like here, he's offering flowers, decorating Gomata. And message about the Gita. This Gita Upanishad, Bhagavad Gita, the essence of all Upanishad, is like a cow. And Lord Krishna, who is famous as a cowherd boy, is milking this cow. Arjun is just like the calf. And learned scholars and pure devotees are to drink this nectarian milk of Bhagavad Gita. Very nice verse this is. From the Gita Upanishad. Lesson to learn. Bhagavad Gita is a very important holy book, which we read every day. So that's chapter, continuing on. Krishna saw that the state, we've done this bit. So it's Krishna Balaram. This earth has now become most fortunate, because you have touched her grass. So this is Krishna glorifying his brother Balaram. And the bushes with your feet at the most fortunate place, and the gopis you embraced with your 2 arms. So this is Vrindavan forest today, sometimes. Peacocks flying around, dancing. Revealing their boyhood Paganda phase of pastimes, Krishna and Balaram were one day bringing the cows to pasture when they entered an attractive forest decorated with a clear lake. There they began playing forest sports along with their friends. Sometimes Krishna would imitate the chattering of a parrot. So these are wonderful pastimes. Sometimes the sweet voice, the call of a cuckoo, and sometimes the cooing of swans. Sometimes he vigorously imitated the dancing of a peacock, making everyone laugh. The boys would sometimes dance or sing. Sometimes they would wrestle amongst themselves or jump. When the boys were thus engaged, Krishna and Balaram would immediately join them, and catching their hands, he would enjoy their company, laugh and praise their activities. So this is God. This is a lesson to learn. He's always enjoying and playing with his close friends. Everybody can become close to God. He's impartial, neutral. He doesn't discriminate against anybody. Krishna, Balaram, and the cowherd boys would play all day long. They would have great fun. One day they were playing hide and seek. It was Krishna's turn to hide. But when he went, the flowers would immediately, wherever he went, the flowers would blossom and the trees would bend to touch his feet. Therefore, he would always be found very easily. There was always a trail to catch him. So he would lose and have to carry Sudama, his cowherd friend, on his back. Krishna would say to his friends that this was unfair, and he would sulk. The friends would tease him, and if he didn't carry Sudama, then he wouldn't be allowed to play. He's the Supreme Lord. Krishna would be watching his friends play and then eventually join them again. He would not miss playing, and his friends would miss him too. He would miss not playing, and his friends would miss him too. Sometimes, with a voice as deep as the rumbling of clouds, he would call out with great affection the names of the cows who had wandered far from the herd, thus enchanting the cows.
Hare, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna. Yes, yes.
What? Just before you ask like any question, I'll ask now only. Why he was carrying Sudama?
Sometimes he would lose. They would play hide and seek, and whoever would, Krishna would have to hide. But because whenever he ran anywhere, um, the flowers would immediately blossom. They would
Ah,
become, and the trees would bow down. So wherever he went, it was very easy to find Krishna. So he
okay.
would always lose. And the
Oh.
price of losing was that then he would have to carry Sudama on his back.
So if Sudama is on him, then the flower won't blossom.
They would still blossom, but the point was that he was very easy to find.
Oh,
Mm.
all right. And
Okay.
if Sudama gets hide, it was hard to find him.
Mm. That's right. Because he didn't leave a trail like Krishna left a trail.
All right. Anyway, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Mm. Nand Maharaj had 900,000 cows, 9 lakhs. Krishna knew every cow by name. The cows were divided into herds by color, either black, white, red, or yellow. Krishna's pet cows, Mangala, Pingala, Ganga, Pisangi, Manikastani, Hamsi, Vamsipriya, are the most important of the Surabhi cows, which who are all dear to Krishna. Lesson: Krishna loves cows, and so should we. If he loves cows, why shouldn't we? Krishna would call the cows with his flute, different tunes for different types of cows. Sometimes the cows would wander off, and Krishna would call out their name. He knew the names of all the cows. They would love their names called out by Krishna. The lesson from this is Krishna knows everyone, including all of us. He knows us. He knows us. He knows the spirit. He's with us after all the time. Pretending to tire, Lord Balaram laid his head upon the lap of a cowherd boy and rested as Lord Krishna helped relieve his elder brother's fatigue by massaging his feet. Then Krishna also placed his head on the lap of a cowherd boy to rest, and another cowherd boy massaged his feet. In this way, Krishna, Balaram, and their cowherd friends enjoyed various pastimes. So they would have great fun in the forest. Sometimes one of the boys would let Krishna close his eyes and open his mouth. He would obey, and in fun, the boy would put a flower in the mouth of Krishna, and they would all laugh, like this picture. When they felt some fatigue, they would sit down, and Balaram would put his head on the lap of one of the boys just to take rest. Krishna would immediately come and begin massaging the legs of Balaram. During this play, Sridham, Shubhal, Shtuk Krishna, and other cowherd boys described to Ram, Balaram, and Krishna a wicked and irrepressive demon called Dhenuka, who had assumed the form of a jackass, like a donkey, and was living in the Talavan forest near Govardhan Hill. This forest was full of many varieties of sweet fruits. But fearing this demon, no one dared to try to relish the taste of these fruits. And thus, someone had to kill the demon and all his associates. Lord Balaram, Lord Krishna, hearing of the situation, set off for this forest to fulfill the desire of their companions. Arriving at the Talavan, Lord Balaram shook many fruits out of the palm trees, and as soon as he did so, the jackass demon Dhenuka ran swiftly to attack him. But Balaram grabbed his hind legs with one hand, whirled him round and threw him into the top of a tree, thus slaying him. Balaram threw the dead body of Dhenukasura into the tallest palm tree in the forest. And when the dead demon landed in the treetop, the tree began shaking. The great palm tree caused a tree by its side also to shake, broke under it the weight of the demon. The neighboring tree caused yet another tree to shake, and this one struck at yet another tree, which also began shaking. In this way, many trees in the forest shook and broke. All of Dhenukasura's friends, overcome by fury, thus rushed to attack, but Rama and Krishna took hold of them one by one, swung them around, and killed them until the disturbance was finally finished. One of the Gopas petitioned Krishna and Balaram that there is a big forest of name of Pathalavan, which is full of palm trees, filled with fruits. Because of a great demon Dhenukasura, it was very difficult to go there. But you can kill him. So lesson, Gopas had so much faith in Krishna. They would, if they wanted something, they would just ask Krishna. So, when Krishna and Balaram were thus petitioned by their smiling, intimate friends, they were inclined to please them. So they went to the forest. Immediately, so we've done this bit. So there's Dhenukasura and Balaram. All this fruit is falling off. So how he was killed, basically Balaram wheeled him around and threw him against the tree. And the lesson to learn here, that actually Dhenukasura represents ignorance of spiritual knowledge. And Balaram is the original guru. He gives spiritual knowledge. And this is when they were 5 years and 10 months old. Oh, yeah, Krishna was 5 years, 10 months. After the destruction of the demons, everyone returned to the forest to enjoy the fruits. This was just before lunch. Good timing as always. And they enjoyed a very nice lunch of these fruits. When Krishna and Balaram returned home, the cowherd boys chanted his glories. Lord Krishna's hair, powdered with the dust raised by the cows, was decorated with a peacock feather and forest flowers. The Lord glanced charmingly and smiling beautifully, played upon his fruit. All the young gopis came forward to meet him. Their eyes were very eager to see him. Their mothers, Yashoda and Rohini, acting most affectionately towards their two sons, offered all the best things to them in response to their every desire. The mothers kissed their faces, fed them with finely prepared food. At last, the two boys laid down upon their excellent beds and happily went to sleep in the village of Vrindavan. So when they came back from the forest, the gopis would become very happy, ecstatic, and the gopas would become a little sad because they won't see their friend until the next day. Similarly, when they went to the forest, the gopis would become very unhappy, and the gopas would be very happy because they're going to spend the whole day with Krishna. Mm-hmm. Some days later, Lord Krishna went with his friends, but without his elder brother, to the banks of the Kalindi in order to tend the cows. The cows and cowherd boys became very thirsty and drank some water from the Kalindi, the Yamuna. But it had become contaminated with poison, and they all fell unconscious on the riverbank. Krishna then brought them back to life by the merciful rain of his glance. And all of them, regaining their consciousness, appreciated his great mercy. So chapter 16. This chapter describes, is called Krishna chastises the serpent Kaliya. This chapter describes of Krishna's pastimes of subduing the serpent Kaliya within the lake adjoining the river Yamuna, and him showing mercy to Kaliya in response to the prayers offered by the Kaliya wives, the Nagapatis, Patnis. So when Sukadeva Goswami said that Krishna, seeing that the Yamuna river had been contaminated by the black snake Kaliya, desiring to purify the river, and thus the Lord banished him, Parikshit Maharaj inquired, the Lord chastised the serpent Kaliya? And also, how did he chastise him? And how did Kaliya come to live there in the first place? Sukadeva Goswami answered that within the river Kalindi, there was a lake inhabited by the serpent Kaliya, whose fiery poison constantly heated and boiled its waters. Indeed, the vapors thus created were so poisonous that birds flying over the contaminated lake would fall into it. To restore the purity of the Yamuna's water, Lord Krishna climbed into a kadamba tree on the river bank and prepared himself for the battle. He tightened his belt, slapped his arms, then jumped into the poisonous water. When Krishna landed in the serpent's lake, the snake there became extremely agitated and began breathing heavily, further polluting it with volumes of poison. The force of the Lord's entrance into the lake caused it to overflow on all sides. Poisonous waves flooded the nearby lands. Yeah, we just said this. So the tree, this tree is still there actually in Vrindavan, the one that Krishna jumped into the Kaliya. This tree was only alive due to a touch of Krishna, because even that tree was poisoned effectively by Kaliya's water. But because Krishna had touched it, it survived. And the lesson to learn from this exhibition of Krishna's strength is not at all uncommon, because he is the reservoir of all strength. So this snake was huge. And you see here the gopis and the gopas, mother of Krishna, Yamuna, Yashodamai, Nand Maharaj, they were all fainted because Krishna was fighting with this Kaliya snake. Then Krishna began fearlessly playing within the water like a maddened elephant. Kaliya could not tolerate Krishna's trespassing upon his personal residence, and the serpent quickly went up to the Lord and bit him on the chest, and then completely enwrapped him in his coils. This is a shocking time. When Krishna's friends saw this, they fell down on the ground unconscious. And all of the villagers came because they heard what was happening. They wanted to come and protect Krishna. But they saw Krishna was in great distress. Well, he wasn't in distress. He was being encircled by Kaliya. The cows, bulls, female calves in great distress called out piteously to Krishna. Fixing their eyes on him, they stood still in fear, as if ready to cry, but too shocked to shed tears. At that time, all sorts of evil omens appeared in Braj, such as earth tremors, falling stars, trembling of various creatures' left limbs. The residents of Vrindavan thought, today Krishna went into the forest without Balaram, so we do not know what great misfortune may have befallen him. Thinking in this way, they traced the path of Krishna's footprints to the banks of the Yamuna. The footprints of Lord Krishna, the master of the entire cowherd community, were marked with the lotus flower, barley corn, elephant goat, thunderbolt, and flag. Within the water of the lake adjoining the river, they saw Lord Krishna, the very essence of their lives, enwrapped in the coils of a black snake. The residents thought the three worlds had become angry, and they all prepared to enter the water, but Lord Balaram checked them, knowing well the power of Krishna. Krishna felt great anger within his heart, and thus Kaliya felt great anger. He grabbed Krishna with his mighty coils. And the cowherd boys and the inhabitants of Braj, they immediately became stunned out of fear. They fainted. And everybody except Balaram was very scared for Krishna. When he saw his own so hopeless, Krishna immediately freed himself and began to expand his body. Kaliya's coils slackened, Krishna immediately pounced upon him, just as Garud swoops upon a snake. Thus attacked, Kalia looked for an opportunity to bite him, but Krishna moved about around him. Krishna and Kalia moved in a circle, the serpent gradually becoming fatigued. Then Lord Krishna, seeing how so we've done that bit. By his wonderful boisterous dancing, so Krishna was dancing on the hoods of the snake. He trampled the serpent's 10,000 hoods, of which 101 were prominent, until his body slackened, vomiting blood from his mouths. Kaliya finally understood that Krishna was the primeval personality, Lord Narayan, the spiritual master of all moving and non-moving creatures, and he took shelter of him. Seeing the Lord dancing, his servants in the heavenly planets, the Gandharvas, Siddhas, and the sages, Chanaras, and the wives of the demigods immediately arrived there. With great pleasure, they began accompanying the Lord's dancing by playing drums such as Madanga, Banavas, and Anakas. They also made offerings of songs, flowers, and prayers. Krishna pressed down on the serpent's hoods and jumped on them. The Lord's lotus feet became tinged with red from the rays of the jewels on the snake's hoods. Then he who is the original artist of all fine arts, such as dancing, began to dance upon the hoods of the serpent. Gradually, Kaliya was reduced to struggling for his very life. He vomited all kinds of refuse and exhaled fire. When Krishna's wife saw how the serpent became so fatigued from the excessive weight of Lord Krishna, who carried the entire universe in his abdomen, and how Kaliya's umbrella-like hoods had been shattered by the striking of Krishna's heels, they felt great distress. Their minds very much disturbed. Those saintly ladies placed their children, placed their children before them and then bowed down to the Lord. They desired the liberation of their sinful husband and the shelter of the Supreme Lord, the giver of ultimate shelter. And thus they folded their hands in supplication and approached him. Then they offered various prayers in hopes of gaining their husband's freedom. So the prayer is like this: "It is quite fitting that you have brought our cruel husband to this condition. Indeed, by your anger, he has gained great benefit." This is the benefit of the Lord. Whatever he does is for our own good. Even when he's dancing and breaking the hoods of Kaliya, it's for our own good, his own good. And the wives are so intelligent, they understand this. "You are so impartial that you look equally upon your enemies and your own sons. For when you impose a punishment on a living being, you know it is to be for his ultimate benefit. What piety Kaliya must have amassed in his previous lives. Today he has borne upon his head the dust of the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the attainment of which is difficult for even the mother of the universe, Goddess Lakshmi. Please kindly forgive the offense Kaliya has committed out of ignorance and allow him to live." They offered obeisances to the Lord, who is time itself, the basis of all authoritative evidence, unlimited and supremely subtle one. Next, they offered their obeisances to their lordships, Krishna, Rama, Pradyumna, and Niruddha, whose pastimes are inconceivably glorious. Although devotees can understand the Lord, to the non-devotees he remains silent, observed in self-satisfaction. The Lord knows the destination of all beings and who is the presiding regulator of all. The wives argued that at least once a master should tolerate an offense committed by his child or subject. Therefore, they asked the Lord to forgive their foolish husband who did not understand who Krishna is. They begged that the serpent is about to give up his life and give their husband back, who is their life and soul. So these are the prayers by the Nagapatnis. They prayed for for Krishna to release them. After the Nagapatnis submitted their prayers, Lord Krishna released Kaliya from his punishment, told him to leave the river and go to the ocean. So they pleased the Lord. They pleased the Lord. Lesson to learn: prayers to the Lord are very important. Even if we have been naughty, the Lord will forgive us if we genuinely pray to him. Satisfied by the Nagapatni's prayers, Krishna released Kaliya, who slowly regained his sensory and vital powers. Then Kaliya, in a distressed voice, acknowledged the offense he had committed, and finally he offered Krishna many prayers, and he said that he was ready to accept his command. Our very birth as a snake has made us envious, ignorant, and constantly angry. Oh, my Lord, it is so difficult for people to give up their conditioned nature by which they identify with that which is unreal. It is you only who create different types of bodies in this world. And since you are the omniscient Lord of the universe, you are the actual cause of freedom from illusion. Please arrange for us whatever you consider proper, whether it be mercy or punishment. So Krishna instructed the serpent, you may not remain here any longer. Go back to the ocean immediately, accompanied by the retinue of children, wives, and other relatives. Out of fear of Garud, you left Ramanaka Island and came to take shelter of this lake. But because you are now marked by my footprints, Garud will no longer try to eat you. So the reason why Kaliya came to the Yamuna was because Garud, for some reason, he could not come near the Yamuna. That's why Kaliya stayed in the Yamuna. Otherwise, Garud would always attack Kaliya. Kaliya and his wives worshipped the Lord, then left with the Lord's permission. The very moment Kaliya left, the Yamuna was immediately restored to her original condition, free from poison and full of nectarian waters. So where did Kaliya go? He went to the Pacific Ocean near an island called Fiji. And it is reputed that he is still somewhere around there. And the ISKCON temple in Fiji has the deity of Krishna, Kaliya. Very incredible deity, where Krishna is dancing on top of Kaliya. So that's it for today. Any questions, any comments?
Prabhuji,
Yes.
Hare Krishna.
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
when did Kaliya come to poison the Yamuna? Because when Krishna was young, and he did this lila with the gopis were there and took away their clothes. So at that time, Yamuna was not poisonous, isn't it?
It's a particular part of the Yamuna. It wasn't that the whole of the Yamuna was poisoned. It was a particular part.
One which was near in the lake where the
Yeah,
Kaliya lived.
that's the one. That's the one. The rest of the Yamuna was fine because it's very powerful, right? But this particular part became contaminated by the poison of Kaliya.
Now, just something like a synonym that Kaliya poisoned the Yamuna in that time, when Krishna was around. Now people in this Kali Yuga, they have poisoned the Yamuna drastically.
Oh,
It feels so sad when you see those white foam floating
yeah.
around in the.
No, it's truly tragic. Yeah, it's truly tragic. And it's mainly the businesses, they pour rubbish and they contaminate it completely.
They have been doing it, but it all breaks down. Nobody seems to have a plan to clarify or clean the Yamuna or punish the businesses or sort out the businesses, sewage, etc.
I
Very
think they're
sad.
trying to do something. You're right. There was definitely some effort being made by the Modi government, but we haven't heard much for a long time. You're right. Yes, before
Anyway,
COVID. Yeah, yeah.
we need. Krishna can save our Yamuna.
Yeah, we need him back. Yeah, no, it's very true. Thank you for sharing that. Very good point, Sachinariban.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhupada.
I mean, Mataji, what Mataji said, it must be right, but I did heard a long time ago, like when Modi ji came, they said they have cleaned the Yamuna and Ganga, and now it's so pure. And you know when this happened? COVID time.
Yeah, but
COVID time, it went so clean because people were not allowed to go there. And it was completely clean. And now, as Mataji said just now, that everything is got dirty now.
it's terrible. Yeah, it's terrible.
But I have never been. But the way you are talking must be.
Yeah, we go every year.
You've seen the white foam, which is toxic material, floating down from Delhi side, going down the Yamuna.
Sewage, it's like sewage. Yeah.
Very sad.
I've heard about even plastic bottles also.
Oh, that's very common. Yeah, very common.
But
it may be a bit better, but we don't know how better it is, because nothing seems to be coming on the news that it is being purified. No.
Usually it's also in Delhi where the big industries are. That's where a lot of the contamination takes place.
Yeah, the only thing is the government not strict, and you can't tell anybody nowadays. If you tell them, they want to argue. So sometimes we think it's better to be quiet and tell them.
No, but the responsibility is for the government to.
Our car parks. I remember whenever there is a party or celebration, I'm talking about here in England. Obviously, everybody will clean the park. Then they will go home. They won't leave it dirty because they always say that put everything in the black bag or in the rubbish and leave the tidy. If you go for a picnic, you have to tidy your place, then go home. Don't leave the things lying around.
Yeah, in Bharat, a lot of education needs to be given, because even if there's a bin nearby, people don't use it. They just throw it here and there and everywhere.
Yeah.
A lot of education has to take place. I mean, it's a little better, but long way to go.
This is something I'm going to tell you now. You won't even believe me, because since I come to this country, I always think, whatever rubbish, I must put it in the bin. And when I went in India, very, very first time, and I was combing my hair, and then when like when you comb your hair, there's always some hair come out, and they go in the comb. So after combing your hair, you take the hair out from the comb, and then you make a little knot and put it in the dustbin. So I did this, and I asked my sister-in-law, where is the dustbin? I want to put my hair in the dustbin. And she said, no, go outside in the balcony and just let it go. It will go in the air.
Oh, no.
So, because I've never done it, and she said, give me. So she took it from my hand, and she just threw it out of the balcony.
Sure.
I said, it's okay, don't worry. They are sweeping every morning. They will sweep the street. So it's people not thinking that we should use our own dustbin and put the things. Why should we put it in the street?
Very true indeed.
I was even if I'm eating a sweet, I'll put my wrapping in my purse and then come home and put it in the dustbin. I won't leave it anywhere.
True.
Anyway, thank you for
Thank you for
listening.
sharing that. Yes, very important point. Very good. Thank you. So, Srimad Bhagavatam Puran ki
Jai.
Shri Krishna Chandra Bhagavan ki Jai.